Hey guys, Lisa Callaghy here to share with you a video on the new reports for Reading Eggs. So here I am on a teacher's homepage. I'm going to navigate to the Reading Eggs section here on the left-hand side menu bar. And I'm going to click on the word reports to open up that drop-down menu. So the two new reports found underneath this report section in Reading Eggs is called the Standard Performance Report and the Lesson Performance Individual Students Report. So these two reports kind of work in conjunction with each other, and they are assessing how well the students are doing in Reading Eggs according to the New Jersey Student Learning Standards. Okay, so let's just jump in here and take a look. I am right now on a teacher's account, and this teacher is a first grade teacher. So let's take a look at this page and see what it offers. First, under the title, you'll see the teacher's name. Again, you'll see the date range, which is awesome because you're able to control the range in which you'd like to see the results below. Right now, we're looking at a date range which mostly encompasses, or definitely encompasses, our entire school year, which means that it's whatever students' data was recorded from the beginning of school. For us, it's September, I think it was the 4th, and it's going to go to present day. Next, you have the ability here to print any results that you see below. And then if you'd like to look at an individual student, you can look at their individual student report. However, it's probably better to look at individual student once you determine the students that actually need looking at, meaning they have some lower scores and they may fall within the yellow or red range here. Next, you'll see content level. So you have the opportunity to look at all, meaning you're going to look at all standards from kindergarten up to grade 2, or you can tease it out by clicking on either grade level. And that's going to give you different results. As you can see, this is a first grade class, and none of the students in this class have worked on any second grade standards within Reading Eggs. So let's start with kindergarten and let's take a look. So the standard results here for any kindergarten standards shows that there were 18 standards practiced by this class, the students in this class. The average lesson completed per student in the kindergarten standards, within the kindergarten standards, are 31.7, and the average score across all standards for kindergarten is 87%. Now let's look at the next group of information, which tells us about the lesson report or the lesson performance for all of the 16 kids within this class. So the lesson performance, again, we're looking at lessons that fall within the kindergarten standard range, and there were no students that scored between a 0 and a 49. Looks like one student has performed within the 50 to 79% range. So it's kind of like, depending on what they get, if they're closer to the higher percentage or lower percentage, we'll have to take a look. And then 15 students scored with between the 80 and 100% on their lessons. So let's scroll down and take a look at what else this report is going to show us. So now it's breaking down the standards, right, for kindergarten. Remember, we clicked on kindergarten. Here's the content level, and here's the lesson focus. So for the first lesson in Reading Eggs, it is a kindergarten standards lesson, and it focuses on the letter M. And below it, it's telling you even more specifically what the sounds that they're practicing and the vocabulary related to the letter M. It's giving you the standards here The third or fourth column is telling you the number of students. The fifth column is the student count distribution, and this is important because here's where you're going to be able to find in which content level and which standards the students may either be in the red or the yellow. So this is student count of the average best score. Then you have the average score, and then from here you're able to click and reach the second report, which is the student report, which under reports is, under reports for reading eggs is the lesson performance individual student. So that report here is the same as the report when you click here. So that's how they are kind of married in these two reports. All right, so let's take a look and see. We see here there's one student that fell in the orange range. So let's take a look and see who that student is by clicking on the student report. So what it's going to show you up at the top is the lesson. This is lesson 2, and what the focus is, the letter S. Here, the lesson focus, vocabulary words, and the sounds, initial sounds of the letter S, and the New Jersey student learning standards that relate back to this lesson and focus. Also the content level, which is kindergarten. Just want to point out that all of these eyes in black circles do give you more information about what you're looking at. So I recommend taking a look, hovering your mouse over these little information buttons, and getting a little bit more information. Okay, so now we're seeing all the students that did work on this particular lesson and the scores that each student scored for that lesson. The one student who had an issue is listed here, and you could see the score that student scored. Okay? Now, that's an indicator of that student possibly needing some support for this lesson. So that's up to the teacher's discretion, and also taking a look at the student's overall scores within Reading Eggs, but this does point to a student's difficulty within this content and lesson. Okay, now I'm going to toggle back to that standards performance report, which includes all of your students. And one way to actually see where your students lie within their percentage of the standards within a grade level, like now we're looking at kindergarten, like we have, you can actually sort by average score, which is kind of going to bring up the areas that have shown students the most difficulty and who those students are. So it looks like for this class in the kindergarten content, lesson 13, the phonics, onset, and rhyme AP, blend, CVC, map, cap. Okay, so rhyming words and fluency within a book has given 7 students in this class the most difficulty. And again, you could come and click on the student report and take a look at the students that are having difficulty with this particular lesson. Okay? It's giving you more information up here. And then I'm going to just toggle back to that standards performance report. So that gives you information about all of the lessons that students performed in the kindergarten area of Reading Eggs. And remember, kindergarten levels are determined by the student's performance test, and in the management and manage progress section, that's where you're able to see what the scores are for reading in kindergarten. So some of those students actually scored between a 1 and a 50 in their placement test. Now, be aware that when we were looking at this performance report or the standards performance report, our date range began from the beginning of the school year. If we want to see more current student data, we can change this to the beginning of January, which is after, or you could try the middle of January, which is after the students took the second performance test. So maybe from January, I believe it was supposed to be completed on the 17th, to February 9th, which is today. Now we could take a look at how our students are doing. Average score. Okay, sorting by average score. And you could see, I don't know why that didn't pull. Oh, I'm not on the right first page. Let's go to the first page. So let's do average score. And it's going to show you the areas that the students are struggling in this class. And this is since the second placement test in kindergarten. These are the kindergarten skills that some students are having difficulty in. And you could see there's one student here. It looks like it might be, let's see if it might be the same student that's having difficulty. Okay. Yes. So this is telling you that this student is having difficulty in all of these kindergarten skills. Oh, this is a different student. Okay, and these are different students. So just being able to tell from sorting the standards performance, looking at the lesson focus, and seeing where your students are having the most difficulty. And this is just kindergarten. Remember, if students have difficulty in skills in kindergarten, those skills are skill gaps that will cause students to have difficulty in skills in grade levels going forward. So let's switch over to grade 1 and take a look and see how the students are performing in grade 1 skills and content levels. Okay, so again, average score, we could sort, and it looks like students are having difficulty in lesson 63 and lesson 73. And the rest of the students are, well, maybe there's one here. And remember, it's average score. If you want, you can sort also by student count distribution. Oh, no, you can't. I'm sorry. You cannot sort by student count distribution, but you can sort by the number of students. So it looks like there are only 2 students that are up to lesson 63 in first grade, and 1 student that's up to lesson 51, 265. So you could see how many students, and there you can sort and see how many students are progressing and passing. And then we could sort lowest to highest, where you could see there are 3 students here, one of which is having difficulty with this particular lesson. Okay, so this is a way for you to determine how your students are doing in reading eggs based upon the standards, the New Jersey Student Learning Standards, and the skills that they're working on in reading eggs. Okay, I hope this helps everyone. Have a great day.